Good evening, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Samato. I'm your superintendent, and this is your weekly connection update. Folks, quick overview of the connection. There is one main topic today, and that is snow day decisions. So stay tuned. I really want to get personal with everybody in this video. And then we talk about some of our safety tips for families, also related to the snow. We talk about, of course, our school and district highlights. We finish with our recognition, and that's our partnership with the Kenmore-Tonawanda and the village of Kenmore. Let's get a little bit deeper into the connection. Snow day decisions. And folks, I really want to take this time. I usually do this once a year, but I'm going to get even a little bit more detailed today and really letting people into the understanding of how, why, when we make decisions, especially I make decisions to call a snow day or not. The decision to close school is one of the most challenging decisions a superintendent has to make. And living in Western New York, we can always expect many days each winter that we're going to have snow and cold temperatures. We know this. It's forecasted all the time, especially once we get into January and February with the cold. November, December were always our worst lake effect snow months. Our main objective, though, is to always have our students in school. But there are many different factors that go into the decision for closing schools, including those snow accumulations, road conditions, anticipated daytime snowfall, especially during arrival and dismissal, wind chill, all of these things, and even many more, regional impacts. So regarding wind chill, because this has been a hot topic this week, it's important to note that when the temperature, including the wind chill, reaches -19, that's when we typically, especially me as a superintendent, starts to consider closing school. Okay, and we don't do this just on feeling. We utilize the National Weather Service wind chill chart. I've included it right in the connection today. And we've established this standard as a starting point for the consideration when it comes to wind chill. But everyone knows when we close, there are typically multiple factors that influence this decision. Another factor is the unpredictability of Western New York weather conditions, which, to be honest, folks, they can vary significantly from area to area. They could change abruptly. We see that all the time. And regularly, when we're receiving forecasts as superintendents, and our meteorologists throughout the area are doing their best, but we know living in Buffalo, those forecasts can change abruptly. And to be honest with you, there have been times where I have felt that I've made a mistake in the decision. An example of this is just recently, this past Tuesday. The chances of making the wrong decision exponentially increase when I make the decision the night before. But I make the decision, and I try to always make the decision the night before, because our families deserve as much time as possible to try and arrange childcare. And we know this as superintendents. But just getting a little bit deeper into Tuesday, I'm telling you now, if I made the decision Tuesday morning, it would have been a different decision. But there was a great deal of media coverage as well as a concern and uncertainty about the storm, which was expected to have a major regional impact. As superintendents, we not only meet regularly as a group to discuss weather events, we also use multiple resources in attempting to make our best prediction. Obviously, it's not a perfect science, ladies and gentlemen. With all these factors in mind, many districts across Western New York this past Tuesday made the decision to close by Monday evening. However, we learned the following day the storm would not affect northern Erie County as much as it affected the south towns. As a result, Kenton was one of many districts that were closed that day, in my opinion, unnecessarily, leaving us with only 2 remaining emergency days. Now, I'm really trying to just be as honest as possible. Were there a lot of factors? Yes. Am I risking telling you that I made a mistake? Of course I am. But I'm just talking to you as a parent to a parent. I'm not always going to have it perfect. More information that families should understand is when I use the term regional impact. Like this past Tuesday, I use that term, regional impact. I'm attempting to make it clear to our families that there are many factors outside of Kenton that impact this final decision. For example, if a storm is impacting everywhere else except for Kenton, it would be foolish to think that we would ultimately not have a major impact on our schools. An example of this is our buses. They don't only provide transportation within district, we transport hundreds of students outside of our boundaries daily to and from programs, schools. Even more information that families should understand. When I instruct our staff to make sure that students are bringing home devices, just like I did today, that's why I'm sending this video on Thursday, by the way, instead of Friday. That should be an indication, bringing home devices, that there could be a chance that we exceed our 4 allotted emergency days and potentially have to shift to remote instruction. And please just understand, I don't like remote learning, but I really think that remote learning would be better than taking days back from planned breaks that we already have in the calendar. I want to finish with this final thought. Just some insight into my thinking about tomorrow, Friday. I'm sure everybody's asking that question now. I'm not considering closing schools tomorrow. The wind chill is predicted to be -10 to -15 degrees, and that's for Kenton. We could specifically look at the National Weather Service. You could break it down by really area and look at hour by hour what the temperature and wind chill is predicted to be. Now, we're not predicted to have a lot of snow tomorrow. If that changes, or if there's other factors that change, I may have to change my mind very early in the morning. By the way, on days like tomorrow, as superintendents, we're up starting at 3:30 a.m., trying to make the best decision, the best prediction for the day. And I may have to alter the decision based on other factors that I learned during the evening, or it's something that I find out late tomorrow morning. But I really thought it was fair that everyone truly understands what goes into this. And folks, I am not looking for any sympathy. This is my job. I just promise you that my thought first is safety. Second, making sure that our families are the most informed. And safety means safety for our kiddos, safety for them in school, coming to school, on buses, at bus stops, walking to school, safety for our staff. Our staff, I have to always consider our staff safety just as much as our student safety. It's very important. And especially, I want to consider our families and how they're impacted by any decision that I make. So please understand that's the purpose of today. Not to say woe is me for making decisions, but I do believe in being fully transparent, and that's what this attempt was. Now going on to our next section, and that's safety tips for families, and staying warm outside is our safety tip for today, really to avoid frostbite. I put some really important pieces from the American Association of Pediatrics, like how to dress, what layers should be, and the order that they should be, and understanding how we have our best chance of avoiding frostbite. Then we get into our school and district highlights. Kenmore West Interact Club brings Purple Pinky Project to elementary middle schools. Kenmore West basketball teams volunteer at Assumption Church Soup Kitchen. Franklin Elementary students enjoy fresh lettuce from hydroponic towers. Kenmore West band director named Shays Wonder Award adjudicator. First grade student plays role of junior head coach at Sabres Kids Takeover Day. Farm to School program introduces new recipe in lunchrooms. Holmes first graders kick off 5-week SPCA program. And we move to our recognition for this week, and we focus on the Tonawanda and the village of Kenmore, but 4 people that really I'm so grateful for each day. From the Tonawanda, our supervisor, Joe Eminger, and our chief of police, Mr. James Stoffager. Then from the village of Kenmore, our mayor, Mayor Mang, and then also our chief of police, TJ Phillips. Folks, I don't think everybody realizes how much these individuals are always willing to help the district and especially help our families. I'm so grateful for our partnership. We don't have to agree on everything, but we always work together to support each other for the betterment of our community. Thank you to those 4 individuals. And that brings us to the end of our connection today. And folks, I'll tell you, one thing that I left out from that snow day. Snow days are different when I'm calling them during the week than they are on the weekend. So just to let you know, we do have some weather coming this weekend. I may not close activities because I know that typically we won't have students walking to activities on the weekend. But unfortunately, sometimes we do have to close things even on the weekend. Stay tuned. I love living in Buffalo, and this is one of the things that we have to deal with together as a community, because together that makes us Kenton strong, Kenton proud and helps us to move Kenton forward. Always stay safe and stay warm.